Good afternoon, y'all. I'm Marlene Bush, and this is Stitching by the Lake. And if you are, sorry, I get so distracted by cars driving by outside my windows out there. I don't know why. Anyway, um, this is Friday, September the 1st. Can you believe that? And I am in Hot Springs, Arkansas. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here. It's not even going to get to 90, I don't think. It might barely get there, but it was so nice this morning, right under 60. I even opened my bedroom window for a little while. It's a window that's right beside my chair where I sit in the mornings. And I sat there and drank my tea and did my reading, and it was just wonderful. We have had a busy morning. The bug man came. I always like it when the bug man comes because I don't do bugs. And he has to come once a month and make sure I don't have to do any bugs. He's a nice young man. Very nice young man. Has been coming for a long, long time. And the plumber came today to flush out my hot water heater. I don't think I even knew that was a thing until a couple of years ago, but they come every year now. And do that and check all my pipes and all that stuff. And it's kind of nice because it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. This is kind of an older house. It was built in 1975. And even though it was redone in 1990 after a flood, I still am always leery because things, you know how it is. Things just break. Anyway, then we had to go to the grocery store. Now, for those of you who are young and who are out and about all the time, that's a nothing day, I know. But for those of us who are older and who don't get out a whole lot, it's a busy day. It's a busy day. Anyway, I have so many things I want to show you and talk about, and it's going to take a few minutes to get through it. So I'm going to get started. I'm trying to decide where I'm going to start. The last couple of videos that I made, I talked about travel accessories and how I did the little jewelry box, and it was so fun to work on that, and I took it with me when I went to the attic a couple of weeks ago. But you know, I'm sorry, Kim, because she helped me get to work on my little jewelry box. I didn't like it. I didn't like traveling with it. I think it's great to have beside my chair when I'm stitching, but those little jewelry boxes are hard, and you have to pack kind of around them. I had to be careful about it not opening up in my suitcase and, you know, things like that. It just wasn't as convenient as I thought it was going to be. So I have once again switched. Y'all will find that I do that kind of stuff a lot. And by the way, if you're new here, thank you so much for coming. And I hope that at some point we get to meet. I've got a lot of followers that I've never gotten to meet yet, and I just want to so badly. I feel like I want to sit down and have a cup of tea. Anyway, this little bag was made for me by a friend several years ago. It zips. It has a two-sided zipper, so it's very easy to get into and out of. And on the inside of it, there are 3 pockets that also zip. And y'all, it holds so much stuff, I can't tell you. Right now, I want to tell you about this. I'm kind of scattered today, aren't I? But at least I've got my earrings on. Those of you who followed a long time know that I feel naked if I don't have on earrings. At the attic, this was given to me by someone in the room, and I've got her name here somewhere. If I can find it, I'll tell you. This little orc catcher, it is the perfect size for traveling. I loved using it while I was there, and it fits right into my little bag. And I've got like a glasses cleaner and my 3-inch square from the shepherd's needle, my corner gauge, on one side. And actually I have 2 glasses cleaners. This one came from Hands Across the Sea. I have in one of my pockets, I have a couple of pairs of scissors, maybe 3. I like my scissors. Yeah, I think that's about it in that pocket. And then in another pocket, I can't show y'all all of this. You're up there and I'm down here. But I have tweezers and a seam ripper and a little 6-inch ruler and my screwdriver that I have to have on my hook and some needle threaders. And then in between the pockets, there's also a lot of room. And I've got 2 needle books in one of those. And then in another pocket, I have needles, several different kinds of needles still in packages. And I keep this on one side. This is a little dome that you sit on your pattern, and it's a magnifier. I like that too. And I still have room for some other things in here when I think about what I might want to take. So I really think this is going to work out for me better than the little jewelry box. Although the jewelry box is really, really cute. Really cute. I saw some of the cutest ones at the attic. We had a little gathering of everyone who had those, and pictures were taken and put on Instagram. You might have seen those. Let's talk about, before we talk about the attic, maybe it's going to be mixed in. Let's talk about Sampler September, since this is September the 1st. Now, some of you may not know what Sampler September is. It is an event made up by stitchers to give us an excuse to have more new starts. So some people in September will start a new sampler every single day. Some will start one once a week. Some will start one and work on it all the way through the month. As for me, even though I have more whips than I can say grace over, I'm going to start 5 or 6. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to start. That's going to be my first thing. Now, I'm going to start this one, Sampler Roll. This is by Samplers Remembered, Linda Danielson. And I just think it is the cutest thing ever. I do not have the fabric or threads pulled on this one. So it's going to be kind of maybe I will and maybe I won't when I get through some of these others. If I have some time left, I'm thinking I might do 2 new starts a week. We'll see. But I'll have to kit that one up before I can get it started. Now, let me show you this one. This is a for sure right here. I bought this at the attic when I was there. I Wait for the Lord. The model is stunning. It is from Hands to Work, Revisited, it says. I wait for the Lord, and in Him I put my hope. And this is not a reproduction one. It is done, it's a monochromatic. In fact, I think at least three of the ones that I want to start are one color samplers. I'm going to open this and show you what I've chosen to start this with. This fabric is, let's see here, from Forbidden Fiber. It's a 36 count toasted coconut, and I did get this at the attic as well. And I got the threads at the attic. The threads are needlepoint silk in NPIs, and it's called the Doeskin Brown Range. It's what's called for here. Number, I don't know, but there it is right there. And you can see that this fabric is almost an exact match. Now, it's not the fabric that's called for. The fabric that's called for was a Lakeside linen, but it didn't tell me the name of it. So, since Lakeside linens are so hard to find, although I did find a couple, this is what I'm going to use. I just think this is beautiful. The model, like I said, was so stunning that it just stopped me in my tracks. Now, I'm not a brown person. Never have been. But this was perfect. Just perfect. Y'all, I'm going to apologize right now, but I still have some COVID cough left over from my COVID bout 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so I have some cough drops and I have a drink. So when I get to feeling like I'm going to have to start coughing, I'm going to try to offset that. Okay, this is my next one that I want to start. This is from Red Letter Day, this book by Teresa Bennett, Kitten Stitcher. And this one right here is the one I want to start. I'm not going to make it into a pillow. I'm going to frame it. That one was stitched on, it was over 1 28 count Cappuccino Lugana. Well, I'm not doing over 1, first of all. I am going to do over 2 on this piece right here. And let's see, I pulled this out of my stash and I don't know what it is. I don't even know what the count is, but I'm pretty sure it's big enough. I used to know what count it is because I measured it and counted, but I didn't write it down. And I'm going to use Gloriana Poinsettia on this one. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? Ah, I love that color combination. I love this sampler for a lot of different reasons. It's a simpler alphabet, first of all. It has a cross on it, and that always makes me happy. And look at the borders. They're all different. They're similar. The top and the bottom are similar, but they are not the same. 4 different borders. Well, you can't get bored with that, can you? I don't think so anyway. Y'all, believe it or not, I have run out of bags, project bags. I'm going to have to make myself sit down and make some more. I used to make them all the time and sell them. And now I'm kind of wishing I hadn't sold all those, but I am slam out. This is one I made from a tea towel that I bought in England. Just folded it over and put a zipper on it. And I've got some more tea towels, so I guess I should do that. But you know, sometimes when you're going to make project bags, you just might as well make a dozen, and it takes all day long. Okay, this is my next one. This is not a new pattern. This is a Stacy Nash, and it's called, I don't know what it's called. Oh, Harriet Brown Redwork Sampler Pin Keep. That's kind of hard to see, but the picture is not great. And she doesn't show a picture of the whole piece. It's folded over to make this pillow. In other words, it's a long piece like this and then folded like this to make the pillow. Hope that made sense. Anyway, I am going to use Buckeye Scarlet, which is a Gentle Arts color. I have 3 skeins, or partial skeins, which I think will be okay. One of them is lighter than the others. You can see that if I hold it like this. And so what I'm going to do is use a strand from one and then a strand from the second one and a strand from the third one and mix it up so it won't be quite so obvious. And the fabric I'm using is a 32 count, and it is from Mason Linens. And it is part of her, I'll talk about those later because it came from the attic. It's part of her button box bundle. There you go. Good colors, huh? I've really wanted to do this one for a long time and have just, I don't know, you just do something else and something else and something else. And then the last one that I have chosen so far is A Hands Across the Sea, Brigida Vezzoli, 1871. This one, I don't see anything here that I can tell you. I found this piece of, I believe, I don't know what it is either. I don't know. In my stash. And I think it's a great match. It doesn't look quite as much. This book looks lighter in this light where I am now, but these are really very close. And I'm going to use Belsois Schoolhouse Red for this one. I haven't decided. I really would like to do what I've seen others doing and use one of my grandmother's names. But since this is not even in, it's got a long place across here for a name. It would have plenty of room. But since it's a reproduction, I'm a little bit reluctant to do that. And that sounds funny, but some of them are not reproductions, and I don't feel as bad about substituting on those. And I have one new start. Those will be my new starts for September. But this one I'll be working on through September as well. At the attic, I found this pattern. It's hard to read here on this fabric because it's very, very mottled. And it's also harder to read because the words are wrapped around. In other words, if she got to, it was using the word and got to an and D didn't fit, she moved D to the next line, which I thought was just wonderful. I love everything about this. I love the framing. I love red samplers, obviously. You've seen I've already chosen more. But I did choose a fabric for this that was not modeled like that because I thought it was difficult. And this is, I've chosen a 32 count Lakeside. It's a limited edition color. I don't know what it is. Just said limited edition. And I'm using cranberry. So that's beautiful. And this is how far I've gotten. I started this while I was at the attic. And that's how far I've gotten. I'm not halfway yet. I'm hoping to have this finished this month. I'm going to try to read you these words. They're hard. Here's a good place. May peace attend thee all thy days, and sorrow be a stranger. May wisdom guide thy future ways, and shield my children from danger. Remember me when the springtime comes, and forget me not when the cold winds blow. Mother, put your trust in the Lord, for other help is vain. This for Sarah. I really want to, I have 3 children, and I really want to stitch this for all 3 of them and put their names at the bottom. So, if I get one finished in September, one in October, and one in November, I'd have them ready for Christmas. That's my goal. It's good to have goals, right? Doesn't mean I'm going to meet them, but I'm going to try. Now, I want to talk about the attic and summer school. Some of you, I can't remember if I told y'all last time I was going or not. I didn't mention it for a very long time. Because y'all know I've got such a bad hip and I've had trouble walking and for several months now. But anyway, I made the trip. The flight there was great. Everything was wonderful. I went early. I knew a few people who were going to go, but there were many that I did not realize were going that I saw when I got there. I did meet a new friend, a gentleman named Javier. Hi, Javier. He is a wonderful, wonderful stitcher. You're going to see some of his work, I'm sure, in the future. He is a beautiful stitcher, quite prolific. Just awesome. Saw lots of old friends. Melissa, a dear sweet friend of mine. Saw new people. I'm going to forget some, so I'm apologizing up front, but I did see some new folks that I've not met before, Brenda and Laura and Nicola. I got to meet all of them, so that was fun. And there are several people that I see at retreats that I don't see other times. Roberta Lyle from Sable Stitchers and Dottie from Stitchin' Scotty. Yeah, Stitchin' Scotty. Just so many, I can't tell you. So it was just a good time. There was such an air of joy and excitement. Getting to see and talk to Jean Lee again. I had met her a year ago at Quilter Station. So getting to talk to her again was just a real treat. She has done a beautiful job with this retreat. Just a beautiful job. The people at our table were the sweetest ever. And the people, all the people there were. It was just a friendly, exciting time. I got a ton of gifts left at my table at various times. A couple that I want to show you. Not that they aren't all special. They are. But if I tried to show you all of them, we'd be here a very long time. This one, though, I thought some of you would love this idea. My table mate Rob Lynn made this. And this is a salt cellar. And she put this little, I think it's a wool ball in there and made a pincushion. I thought it was just an adorable idea that some of you might like to copy. Such a sweet thing. And I got a couple of these little what do you call these? Blankets? This is one of them that came from the woodpecker's daughter. And then there's another one. I absolutely, I don't have it in here. It's in my little bag. Someone made one that's like about this size right here. So perfect for traveling. So perfect. And I use these all the time. Literally all the time. Also, not from the attic, but from a friend of mine this week. She did what I have typically done many times in the past, and she bought this hands-on design pattern for a strawberry, but she bought it twice. So she shared one with me. So I'm looking forward to stitching that one. A couple of questions I have. I have two things laying here on my table, and I don't know what they go to. So I need some help. If you went to Tulsa to that retreat or the attic, please tell me if you recognize this. It's a little bag with roses on it, and it's got threads in it and a little scissor fob and looks like some tape. Excuse me. And some buttons. I have inadvertently taken it out of its project. So if you know what it goes to, please leave me a message below and tell me so that I can return it. And then I have this little piece of fabric and some black sand beach dinky dyes. What does that go to? That's another thing that got lost in the shuffle of my projects. Okay, when I knew I was going to go to the attic, my goal was to buy fabric. I absolutely love feeling of and looking at the colors and putting them up next to a pattern when I'm trying to buy linen. Well, you can't do that when you order online. Now, ordering online is fabulous, and I do it and I order linen that way, but I prefer to see it in person. And so I really and truly was getting a little bit low on my stash of linens. Plus, I also wanted to get some higher count linens. Believe it or not, I have discovered that I can change my readers to a higher level and stitch higher counts of projects. So I've started one on 56, and I actually can do it. I'm using a 6.0 reader to do it. And I can stitch on 40 count with a 5.0 or a 5.5. So I have a little bag that I carry with me that has all kinds of readers in it. So I bought linen, and I bought a good bit of linen because linen's quite expensive. Mason linen that I mentioned just a little earlier is a new dyer who lives in Alaska, and she packaged her linens like this in 4 quarter-yard bundles. And what she does is take a color. This is chatelaine, and there are 4 gradations of that same color. I suppose, in my head, the way I think that was probably done is to take out some, like maybe you wait 30 minutes and an hour and hour and a half and 2 hours. Those times are completely screwy, believe me. But you get richer and richer colors if you do things like that. Like when you're coffee dyeing, the longer you leave it, the darker it gets. So I'm thinking that's something like her process. But anyway, she packaged them in 4 quarter-yard bundles, which means this is a yard of fabric. And this one is called chatelaine. This one is called button box, and I showed you a project. I had already pulled out the lightest color on this one to use on one of those samplers. Beautiful colors. I bought a 32 count fox and rabbit up in the attic. And this was a half yard. I even found a couple of little pieces of Lakeside. The one I showed you before, and this is the same limited edition. This is a 32 count. This one is Seraphim 36 count called Bee's Knees. And this is a piece of 56 count Kingston Cafe au lait. So that was the majority of my purchase. Now, you saw 2 patterns already that I bought. I bought 3 patterns while I was there. I bought this for Sarah and the I Wait for the Lord that I'm going to start probably today. And I bought one other, and I had no intentions of buying anything else at this point. But I saw the model, and when you see the model, you get sucked in. This is just beautiful, stitched and framed. Just beautiful. I have a lot of Christmas. I've stitched a lot of Christmas, but not so much winter. That's how I'm justifying that. Did y'all catch that? It's called Winter Whites, and it's by Summer House Stitchworks. I don't know exactly what I'm going to stitch this on, but one of those Mason linens, I'm pretty sure. And it only calls for 3 colors. Calls for whitewash, sandcastle, and flatfish from Weeks. And it has the DMC conversion, of course. And they used raw linen, but I'm not going to use raw linen. It's just so sweet. So sweet. Now, let's look at a couple of things that we got from the designers. This is from Needle Made Designs, and it's called Catherine Scherer or Scherer, 1829. I love the White House because I do love White Houses. Sorry, y'all, it's not wanting to hold up for me. It's a nice alphabet. I like the border. It's not a huge one. Has some birds and some flowers. And right here, it's got JS and HR 1829. I haven't read all of this. I wonder if maybe that's a wedding date. But it would make a sweet wedding sampler. With that, we also got this pattern called a Scottish Garden Pin Drum. And I think what she did was take the White House, yeah, she did, she took the bottom portion of this pattern and made it into this pin drum. She also gave us the tart pan for that. It's still wrapped up in here. And the necessary things, threads, fabric, and so forth, for the pin drum. So that's going to be a fun stitch. I especially like that pin drum. That's going to be, I don't know that I want to stitch all of that twice, but that's going to be a hard decision if I don't. This is another bag that I made from a tea towel that I got in Ireland. This bag we were given from the attic, and it was made by Barry at Stitch Folk. It's just adorable. So well made. Goodness. Way better than what I do. This is from the Scarlett House, and it's called Mary Kay Nichols 1827. I like this one a lot. I like samplers that aren't terribly busy. I don't mind some busy, but just not terribly. My eyes kind of get lost in there. And the fabric, I think, is a lakeside on this one, and these are the threads here at the bottom. I have not gotten that out, so I don't have them on floss tape. And she also gave us, she took, no, this is completely different. She gave us this little tart pan, and she had stitched this star on it, but she also suggested that we use one of the flowers or the birds out of this pattern to do this. And this was most unusual. The tart pan comes on a wooden base. I really like that. I think that's really pretty. This is from Needlework Press, the parrot. All you, my friends, who now expect to see a piece of marking thus performed by me, cast a smile on this my mean, hard to read, and you'll strive to me and be obedient ever. This is the antique, and this is the reproduction. There's also a little, she reproduced a little cutout part of the flower border down here if you wanted to stitch just a little piece. The fabric is, I don't know. Let me see what it calls for here. They put in 40 count baked clay by Fox and Rabbit. And she has a card, thread card, with some of the threads on it. Not all of them have been put on here because there are, I think, 4 more or 3 more NPIs. Yeah, 3 more NPIs that go with that. This was the most unusual project. I've not seen this before, and I fell in love with it. Five Times Blessed Nancy Mills. Nancy gave us this notebook. Y'all, this thing, it must weigh a couple of pounds. I don't know. It's very heavy. I wish you could touch it. I wish you could see it and touch it because it feels like suede. It is a beautiful notebook. And she said we all need to keep a notebook beside us to jot down ideas and things we need to do and all that kind of stuff. And she made a cover for it. This is on paper. And she had the display, and it was beautiful. I have every intention of doing this one, too. May our hearts and needles always be full. So pretty. Oh, here's my mug Jean Lee gave us. I wouldn't let myself open it up and drink my tea out of it till I had shown it to y'all. There were other things, y'all, that we got, other gifts. But things are kind of buried right now. So if I've missed something that I should have shown, I'm sorry. I did my best. And that's all that I see right now. I am going to one more retreat next weekend. I'm going back to Quilter's Station. I can't even tell you who all the designers are that are coming. I do know that Alma's coming from Blackbird Designs, but there are 3 or 4 others that I remember thinking when I signed up for it, oh, I can't wait to see her, you know. But at this point, when I've already been to 2, they're all jumbled in my mind. I should have looked it up before I came in here to make this video, but I didn't. So I'm going to be leaving next Friday, a week from today, and driving to Kansas City and drive home on Monday. I'm going to the Saturday and Sunday class. So if you're going to be there, be sure you stop and say hello. And if you're there for the Thursday, Friday class, if you end up spending the night Friday, maybe I'll see you in the lobby or something like that. That'd be fun. I'm meeting my sister there and my friend Kim. And Sean, are you going to this one? I can't remember. Anyway, meeting friends. So it'll be a good time. And that's a good distance for me. It's about 7-hour drive. So that's not bad. I drive 8 hours to go to my sister's. So it's, it's very doable for me. But I will say this. I am cutting back on my retreats. I have not signed up for another one for a year. I have signed up for Tulsa next summer in July. They are absolutely the most fun and just I just love going to them. I love seeing people and meeting people and getting new things and shopping and all the things that go along with the retreats. But as I get older, they become more difficult for me. I told you the flight to Phoenix was non-eventful. It was great. It was wonderful. But the flights home from Phoenix, not so much. I got there 2 hours early to the Phoenix airport. I have to have a wheelchair to go any long distance. So the wheelchair guy took me to my gate and parked. And like I said, 2 hours early. Well, then they started delaying the flight, 30 minutes, an hour, 30 more minutes, another hour. Nicola and Linda were actually at the gate while I was there, and their flight, I think they were going to miss their connecting flight, so they ended up having to book another flight to get to Heathrow, and maybe they stayed all night in the airport. But I didn't have to do that, but I did miss my second flight in Dallas. So I canceled that one and I rescheduled a later one. And by the time my flight got into Dallas, it was late. So late that the gentleman who came to get me and take me to the next gate literally ran, y'all. He ran the whole way. We went to an elevator, we went through a train, we went to another elevator, and I was squealing, I'm sure. I told him it was more fun than I'd had in years since the last time I'd been on a roller coaster. He got me there with 1 minute to spare. I was able to get on the plane. Now, I did lose my first class seat. I had booked a first class seat on there, and I lost it because you have to be there 15 minutes ahead. And I had to go all the way to the back of the plane. And I had 2 heavy carry-on bags, 2 backpacks that were heavy. I carried all my linen home with me right here. I was not taking a chance on my linen getting lost. But my luggage got lost. So it was not there when I arrived. I got to the airport in Little Rock at 11 p.m. My grandson, bless his heart, came and picked me up and brought me home. And my luggage came the next day. They delivered it to my door the next day, thankfully, because I had 4 whips in that luggage. I would have been sick had I not gotten that back. I said the flight was uneventful, but it really wasn't quite uneventful going over. I got to Dallas okay, and they took me and parked me in my little chair, but then they changed the gate, and it was another concourse, and they didn't come to get me, to move me. So I went up to the desk and told the lady, I said, I need a wheelchair. Would you call for one, please? And she said, oh, honey, you can just get on the escalator right there and get right off and get on the train and go over. And I looked at her and I said, oh, no, ma'am, I cannot. I need for you to call for me a chair, please. And she did. So I got to the other concourse and they changed the gate again, luckily close enough for me to just walk down there. But then they changed it one more time, and it was about 6 gates away, and I was able to do that. I just can't go from one concourse to another concourse. You know, that's too far for me. I had a steroid shot the week before I went, but it had not kicked in yet, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to make that. But it was okay. It was fine. I got there fine, and it was my first time doing an Uber, which, I couldn't get my Uber app to work, and so the girl that was pushing my wheelchair showed me how to put the lift. I had the lift one on there on my phone too. She showed me how to use that, punched it all in for me, so I got to the hotel just fine. It was eventful. Let me just say that. It was eventful, but it was so fun. I don't get scared in situations like that. I really don't, because y'all, people are good. People just are good. I mean, everywhere I went, some gentleman would offer to put my bag up above my seat, or, people sitting next to me asked me if I needed anything. They just are good. Now you're going to find some that are not. but I think you more or less get what you expect. And so maybe that's not right. I don't know. But for me, it has always worked like that. I get what I expect, and I expect people to be good. On one of the flights, there was a young couple sitting in front of me. Thank goodness they had booked first class because they had a dog and a baby, and they had tons of stuff. The dog never barked and the baby never cried. It was awesome. I told them when we got off the plane, y'all must be the world's best at this. And they just laughed and they said, experienced it at this. That's what that is. Oh, my earring came off. Now I'm half naked. Not really, y'all. It's just earrings. I think that's all I have. Okay. September 1st, start a sampler. September 2nd, start another one if you want to, or don't. Or do a whip every day through September. Just stitch, because you'll have so much fun. Okay, love you guys. Bye-bye.